Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not make a move at the NFL trade deadline. Now, this does not mean they weren't possibly in some conversations. Quite frankly, we will never know if the Buccaneers were or were not in any types of conversations, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it today, talk about whether or not that was or wasn't the right move, because there are a lot of players that were moved that I'm sure a lot of fans wouldn't have minded if the Buccaneers were interested in and possibly even traded for, given some of the compensation that was given up. Tre'Davious White got moved to the Baltimore Ravens for only a 7th round pick, and they got a 7th round pick in return. Preston Smith was moved over to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 7th round pick. Mike Williams was moved over to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 5th round pick. One interesting thing to note, Marshon Lattimore is finally out of the NFC South, by the way. He was moved over to the Washington Commanders for a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th round draft pick. You then also have the Carolina Panthers making a trade. They gave up Jonathan Mingo and a 7th round pick to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th round pick. A couple of other interesting trades to note here. Za'Darius Smith, one guy I talked about in potential targets for the Buccaneers at the trade deadline, was moved over to the Detroit Lions for a 5th and 6th round pick. Also, Baron Browning, pass rusher for the Denver Broncos, was traded to the Cardinals for a 6th round pick. So these are all different types of trades that, honestly, given the trade compensation and the player that would have been gotten in return, maybe the Buccaneers should have been interested in. I mean, Za'Darius Smith, and you get a 7th round draft pick in return for a 5th and 6th round pick. That's not terrible in my opinion. Baron Browning for a 6th round pick. I mean, hey, why not go and try and get the young man? The Tre'Davious White one is very interesting. That is essentially just the Rams giving up on Tre'Davious White. The Mike Williams trade, honestly, didn't expect him to go for a 5th rounder. Thought maybe a 6th or a 7th rounder. Preston Smith was a name I had not thought about either, but ultimately the Bucs didn't make a move. Okay, they didn't. And is that surprising? No. We talked about this, how the Buccaneers don't make big NFL trade deadline moves, and they didn't in this scenario. They're 4-5 right now. You see a lot of the teams that have made these moves, and they're teams that are very much like 6-3 in the case of the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the case of the Washington Commanders, they're like 6-3. In the case of the Dallas Cowboys, well, they're still trying to win their division, but they're always an uber aggressive team. Very similar case. Well, actually, the Cincinnati Bengals, they have the same record as the Bucs, and they still went out there and made a trade. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Just given where the Buccaneers organization is in terms of their record, in terms of their roster construction, we've talked about it before. Like, they weren't going to go out there and try and bring in one person to save this pass rush or save this cornerback room. Maybe they were in conversations on Greg Newsome. Maybe they were in conversations on some other players as well. Maybe Baron Browning. But it was not to be. So really, who the Bucs have are who the Bucs have. And that's it. I wouldn't expect any type of free agent signings to come in as well, like an Xavier Howard. And I know that sounds like doom and gloom, but it is what it is. It is how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization runs. And despite some of these other moves being made, some of which the Buccaneers should have been on, and maybe they were in on, they didn't get a deal done, and it's not really that surprising in my opinion. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it down in the comments section below. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. See you soon, and go Bucs.